Exciting stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Well, there's one app to keep you busy, that's for sure, just like they did for Ryle and Grant this morning. Check it out, check it out. Listen, but we are sticking to the topic of racing this morning. We are about to head on over all the way to Johannesburg because we are meeting South African motor car racing driver Fabienne Lanz. Kuhle is on the scene and he's there. Of course, we are also talking about, with regards to women in sport. I think this is a great introduction. Let's meet Fabienne Lanz.
Thank you so much. Good morning to everyone in studio. Molweni nonke eMzansi. We are coming to you live from Johannesburg this morning, and we continue to celebrate Women's Month here in Mzansi and, of course, on your Feel Good Breakfast show. And one woman who fits the category and deserves all the praises is Fabienne Lanz. She is a South African race car driver who placed second in an endurance kart race in Mozambique in April and also displayed her skills in the shifter kart category, earning a respectable 5th position in the Formula K Benoni race in May. She joins us this morning to spread the championship and to celebrate Women's Month with us and also to delve into the motorsport game. Good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, take us back to where and how it all started, right? We hear that you started racing at the age of 9.
That is correct.
Wow, what introduced you to racing?
So my dad used to race, so naturally that's in the racing family, so it was a lot easier to get involved in motorsport, even though I did ballet before I started racing.
Are you serious?
Yes. So remaining, I did it for a while longer when I started racing, but obviously then that took precedence, and then that was my #1 thing till today.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Are there any similarities between ballet and racing?
Definitely the discipline and the hours of practice that you have to put in, but I think that's with any sport or anything that you actually do.
That's absolutely true. Now, in July, you held a competition, the Women in Motorsport 3-day Girls Camp. It took place in July. Talk to us about that. Why is it important to hold events like this for young girls?
So definitely giving back to the sport is very important. And when I raced in Spain last year at the Nations Cup, I saw a few girls competing, and I was racing in the front naturally, and I eventually finished 5th. And I had a look at the general demographics of where everybody was placing, and I thought this is actually a problem. I need to give back more. We need more intense training and so on, and upliftment and empowerment of these girls. And that's where I derived the Girls Camp and made the different modules as to just to tap into the different things that they actually need to learn and understand how difficult everything is just for a human being, let alone being a girl. Because when we compete against the guys, so it's one class for everyone. But it's
really
nice, yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No, so there's no separate category for the ladies, but some places where you race, they do make an opportunity where they acknowledge this is the first lady in this whole category. So I've won that twice in Italy. And I suppose over the years of racing, these little pieces that you experience and you grow is where the whole idea then comes together. Let's actually make this thing for the younger girls, the younger generation, and make it more inclusive, that they can feel part of motorsport.
To plant the seed and to cultivate it and to use your experience and expertise to help the younger girls in the sport as well. I mean, you have a lot of experience. You are considered as one of the best women racers in South Africa. I'm pretty sure you faced a lot of challenges along the way. It is a male-dominated sport. What are some of the challenges that you have faced, and also how have you overcome them?
So younger, definitely it was the bullying. I would get pushed around a lot. And eventually my dad got fed up and he says, we're actually going to go home if you don't start, defending yourself and standing your ground. So I became the Bundu Basher for a while, but that's just to, stamp the authority and say, hey, you can't push me around anymore. I'm here to compete. So when the helmet goes on, we are all racing drivers. Yes, we're physically not as strong as the men are, so we need to train more. But it does make us more disciplined and definitely more determined.
Oh, 100%. Now, I know that with race car drivers, they have some of the coolest and best cars. Do you know what a Vrupa is?
No, actually don't.
The car is a car that you hear before you see, okay?
Oh, I see.
With the engines and everything.
Okay.
Talk to us about your car. What do you love most about it?
So I've got a Golf 5 GTI racing car. Absolutely enjoy it. We actually drove it yesterday. We put bigger brakes on the car to see, to give more stopping power and so on. We're doing an endurance race next weekend, so we're obviously preparing for that. So I do get my thrill on the racing track. It's a turbocharged car, so acceleration is really nice. But it's nothing like that shifter kart that you mentioned earlier on. That's definitely power to weight ratio is the most thrill that you can ever get. And even yesterday there was Ferraris driving around, and that's what you hear. You hear it before you see it. And I suppose motorbikes are even more so because they're so high-pitched.
Oh, man. Before we let you go, just quickly, towards the end of this month is the Festival of Motoring in Johannesburg, right? Considered to be the biggest extravaganza in South Africa. Can you tell us more about your involvement in that?
So we are going to have a go-kart racing track there for people to come and drive and actually just see the motorsport scene and what it's all about. So we coupled it with a couple of things where we've got simulators so people can learn how to drive on that with some competitions tied to that. And then we designed a wheel change challenge where people can actually physically take a wheel off, simulating taking it off your own car. Because, I don't know, can you change the wheel on your car?
Girl, don't ask me higher grade questions so early in the morning. No, I cannot.
Exactly that. So we want to empower people because I believe that if you know how to change your wheel in your car, you will be more confident when you're driving. And that just makes it better on the road. So we want to test that out, see how that goes. And then we got some university activities as well where we want to get students information to create a database to actually then contact them, to plug them into engineering and so on. So it's quite a motorsport introduction area with a lot of activities in there.
That is absolutely incredible. Thank you so, so much for joining us this morning and sharing your story. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have taken inspiration from it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, for Fabienne Lanz, this is more than a personal endeavor. It is also to represent breaking barriers for generations and women athletes. Now, you let us know on social media, what is traditionally a male-dominated sport you've always wanted to train and compete in? Don't forget to use the hashtag Expresso Show.